since we have covered all, I would call simple models for inventory management. Now we are going to deep water area. So it's really deep. And but the contents we are covered today probably is closest to the reality industry. Do you know that's okay? Many of contents I can tell you that probably I won't test in your exam, okay? But you still need to do case study or something like that. But what we will cover today, if you grab the idea, okay, understand it straight, and probably you can almost direct you to what we will learn today for the company for inventory management. Because as I told you guys, EOQ, EPQ, too simple for most companies. They don't use this. There's so many assumptions. They are too ideal situation. Okay, if you use that, you won't get very good practical results. That's a good starting point. Today we'll go to the deep water area. Okay? Yeah. That's I believe. I like the challenge we'll face today. So we have discussed EOQ and EPQ model, right? There's for the EOQ family, there's one last model we have not touched. It's called the quantity discount model. Okay, it still have the similar assumption of EOQ model, like the only one product, and the demand is constant, and we know the demand forecast is very good. But only one condition is not satisfied here is that the purchase cost is different with your purchasing quantity. Okay, it's easy to understand and it's follow the reality, right? So when we purchase more, usually we get a discount. That is true for almost all industries except some niche industry, luxury brand, right? So the same formula we use to calculate total cost is not the same formula, the same idea to calculate total cost, well, as EOQ. Q over 2 is the average inventory level. Q is your decision variable. You want to decide how many units you want to order per cycle. D over Q is the time of orders per year. Times S is the per time ordering cost. Plus PD, which is the purchase cost. Okay. Let's first have a quick view of the EOQ model. Right? Look at that. That's the EOQ model's total cost function. EOQ equal to total cost Q over 2H plus D over QS. So it's the holding cost plus the ordering cost. Now come to this model, quantity discounts model. Quantity discounts QD. Total cost function, same thing, except we have the purchase cost. Right? If you look at that, the same. Holding cost is the same, ordering cost is the same, but for the quantity discount model, we add the purchase cost, PD here. Well, we know D, right? This the annual demand. We know that in advance. My question is there something wrong with some formula here? Why they are different? When we talk about total cost, why EOQ? We didn't consider purchase cost. Why in the quantity discount we consider purchase cost? Do you think purchase cost should be included in our total cost or not? PD, right, is the price per unit purchase, like bottled water, like 20 cents per bottle, right? Should we include that in our total cost? Makes sense, right? We should include, right? Because you definitely have holding cost, you have ordering cost, but you also pay purchase cost. That's probably most of the cost is purchase cost. Now the question that, okay, if the second formula, which is quantity discount model formula, makes sense, why Charles teach us, right? EOQ model. Okay, Charles made a mistake again, right? Forget this last item. To use this simple formula and guess the Q, we already remember that, and then finally we find something wrong. Something wrong? EOQ model, we don't have the purchase cost. Should we add this one plus PD in the EOQ too? What do you think? You might challenge in my class. I always ask questions that you can't find in the textbook. You just want to, okay, that's a formula textbook use, so we get that. That's another formula textbook use, so we get that. But I really want you guys to think about, okay, all the question I ask you guys is not really math question. It's not really, yes, it has some math, but you can handle that. It's about the logic. When we talk about that, why the EOQ model? I can tell you, I didn't tell you the wrong thing. You don't need to add this purchase cost for EOQ model. But why? You think about EOQ model. What's happened for this purchase cost? P times D. You know D in advance, right? Like our example 5,000 or something like that. You know P, purchase cost from your supplier. Eh? What?
It can fluctuate too. I mean, if it changes, does that affect the overall model?
It didn't change, in fact. It's pretty given.
Does the D stand for demand?
Yes, the annual demand. Well, you know, EOQ or quantity discount is the same. We know demand in advance. We know for sure, 100% sure, next year's demand. And my question is that, okay, in the EOQ model, we guess the Q by taking the first derivative of the total cost function, set equal to 0, gets Q. If the function is wrong, then we should have concern, right? We miss this important term, purchase cost. But you understand, okay, most likely Charles didn't make a mistake, right? That's why we don't need to consider purchase cost in the EOQ. TC is the function of Q, right? Total cost is function of Q, right? All other parameters are predetermined. Holding cost, D, we know S, we know P, we know D, right? When we guess Q, we take the first derivative of Q. What's happened for this term? PD. Did this matters with Q, or do it has any relationship with Q here for EOQ model? PD. It's a hard question. Okay, let's make it even easier. PD has two terms, right? P and D. First D.
No, it doesn't involve Q.
Right? Huh?
It doesn't involve Q.
Yeah. Demand has nothing to do with Q. Demand, you know that. You can order 100 per time. You can order 200, but demand we know, right? Next year, that's the demand. Well, yeah, who cares? Customer doesn't care how many you order per time. What's about the price? Purchase price. That this related to Q in the EOQ model? No. We don't have discounts. Remember, in the EOQ model, there's no quantity discount. That means no matter what is your Q, you can order 10,000 or just 10 units. It's the same price. So which means the last term in the EOQ model, under the assumption of EOQ, is constant. Clear? The PD is constant. You think about it, we can definitely add this term into our total cost function. But when we solve the Q, we take the first derivative. Now you should remember, a constant number take the first derivative is equal to what? A constant.
1.
No, 0.
Zero.
Equal to 0, right? You can think about it. If your function y equal to x plus 1, okay, x take the derivative is 1, right? But the 1, whatever x plus, the derivative is 0. So, which means it doesn't matter whether you add this term or not this term in the formula. Because only the first two terms is a function of Q, it's related to Q, which we have to consider. We don't need to worry about that. Clear? Why we don't worry about that? Now the question is, why will you add this term now in the quantity discount model? Is now this term related to the Q? Why? Which one is related to Q?
The P.
P. Very good, Kayla. Even you are late for 2 minutes, but you already got that. Okay. I told you guys, okay, when I was in Purdue, I was in a distinguished professor's MBA finance class. He's really distinguished. Everybody in the finance field know him, right? He's so strict. Old fashioned, like 60 years old, maybe he already retired now. Well, he punished students that way. In MBA class, you think of MBA is a cash cow, right? Usually you think of faculty treats MBA student better than undergrad students. This distinguished, he doesn't care anybody. Once you're late, push up. 1 minute late, 1 push up. 5 minutes late, 5 push up in front of everybody. Okay, you can complain. Well, who cares? We care. He doesn't care, right? So, so that's very interesting. I only see one professor do that. I think we have to be the distinguished professor to punish students like that, right? But so it can be hard for some girls for push up, right? And also, Ella, you don't want to be late for 20 minutes, and then you probably want to quit the class.
Have to go to CrossFit for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. Okay, so that's we know, right? So now P is a function of Q. When you Q increase, your P decrease. Then we can't ignore the purchase cost. Clear? Everybody here? So we have to include PD because P is not a constant now. Now the goal is the same. We want to minimize this total cost, and then since this is a function of Q, or even the relationship between Q and P is pretty complex. It's really hard to explain that. Usually P is like, okay, P equal to P1 if Q is less than some quantity, like say 100. P equal to P2 is Q greater or equal to 100. So P is a function of Q. Even the form is like this. It's really like this. So it's really hard to say we plug this form into this function. But you understand, okay, this is a function, right? P is a function of Q. It's related to Q. Okay. Now we use some mathematics. We can solve the problem. But now we can see it's a quantity discount model. There are two curves here. So it's total cost without PD and total cost with PD. Right? For the ELQ model, doesn't matter. The optimum point is also here. The only thing is you parallel move the curve up because you add a constant PD. Right? So that's why in the ELQ model we use the lower curve to estimate the total cost function. We ignore the PD because it's constant. Clear? The optimal point doesn't matter. You just parallel move. Right? But in the quantity discount model, now it's different. Think about that. That's an example. If you order less than 45 units, your order quantity is less than 45, your purchase cost is $2 per unit. If you order from 45 to 70 units per time, what is the purchase cost?
$1.70.
1.7, right? If you order more than 70, what is the purchase cost? 1.4. You guys big discounts. You can think about that is 30% discounts, right? About 70, sorry. And then, okay, then we know, okay, if we calculate total cost function, the P change. For example, if we are in the first range, this function P equal to 2, right? So that's this curve, solid one. This has the dash 1. That means, okay, if you draw this function, total cost function, to higher level Q, is that. But this will never happen, this dash line, because this total function only true in this interval, right? Because P equal to 2 is only true from 0 to 45. So we only look at this solid line. Okay, in the middle range, 45 to 70, purchase cost is $1.7. We draw the total cost function. Only true in this middle interval is a solid line, right? The only solid line is the total cost function. Do the same thing when we order Q greater than 70, right? So the total cost function with P equal to 1.4 is even lower. No surprise, right? Total cost is even lower, but it's only true when Q is greater than 70. So the real total cost function is three parts. The first part before 45. The second part from 45 to 70. The third part above 70. So 3 segments of these solid lines combined together is your total cost function for all the range. Clear? Questions? Clear? Right? Clear? Right? Because we have discussed why it should be have 3 segments. Because you have 3 different P. Right? So in this interval, this is the true cost function. In the middle interval, this is the total cost function. In the last higher level of Q, this is the total cost function. So that's the 3 segments of the curve. Together, that's your total cost function. Now, if you draw the picture, that is pretty clear for this example. What is your optimal ordering point? Optimal order level, Q. Anybody can tell me? Tell us. 70. Very good. Michael? Because if you look at these 3 lines together, we know we want to find the lowest total cost, which is 70. Or some student may think, oh, that's optimal value is here, like 6 something. For this curve, but it can never reach. Because that's only in your paper, right? So because if you order 60, you can't benefit from this lower order quantity. If you benefit that, you already passed optimal point, but it's okay. Well, that's the optimal we can guess in reality. So that's how we guess the optimal order quantity and the quantity discount model. We have to write down the total cost function for different P, and then find the real lowest total cost for different segments. Clear? We don't have time to go through the example on this, but I believe you guys probably already get the idea of quantity discount model. Now we have finished the family of EOQ model. Next, we'll talk about some general question of inventory management. Is when to reorder. Well, you think about, we have discussed EOQ model. Right? We say, okay, lead time is fixed, EOQ model, 2 days. And the demand is constant and known in advance, like 10 units per day. Then what is our reorder point? 10 units per day times lead time, 2 days. That means 20 units. Anytime you find inventory level equal to 20, trigger your action of reordering, right? Because you know that you order with 2 days, exact 2 days, okay, your inventory will go to 0, and then you receive order. For EOQ, we don't touch that because it's so trivial. I give you a simple example here, still remember? But generally speaking, it's not so easy to determine the reorder point. So definition of the reorder point is that when your on-hand inventory quantity, okay, drops to this amount, like 20, right? Then you place the order again. That's your reorder point. So once you build this reorder point, okay, it's very easy to implement, right? So you check the inventory. Nowadays almost on-time inventory or in database. Once it happens, place order with our vendor or supplier. That is. But the key question is here. How do you determine this reorder point? So there are several factors affect our reorder point. The rate of demand for EOQ, we know that is constant and known. The lead time, EOQ, we know that and also is constant. The extent of demand or lead time variability in EOQ, we know is equal to what? The variability of demand or lead time equal to what? The EOQ model. What is the demand variability? It's hard. Forget again. In the EOQ model, what is our demand variability? Or do we have demand variability?
Is it constant?
It's 0, actually, right? We don't have any variance. Lead time, the same thing, right? So EOQ, we don't worry about the third bullet here. For the degree of stock out risk acceptable to management, for EOQ, we don't worry about that because we never have stock out. We have a perfect planning. We know for sure when our inventory level hits 0, we receive the new order. So we don't worry about that. Customer service level is 100% for EOQ. Then you understand why I keep telling you guys EOQ is too ideal or too simple for reality. But we don't live in the perfect world. In some situations, you can still use EOQ to get a pretty good result. But in most situations, EOQ is too simple. Same thing as EPQ or quantity discount. Because they all have this strong assumption, right? No variance about lead time and demand. Right? Service level is 100%. But in reality, it's not true. Okay, that's for EOQ or some other simple model. If everything is under certainty, we know that for sure. We know the demand rates for sure. We know lead time for sure. Then reorder point is very simple, right? It's the demand per day times the lead time, how many days? Right? It can be week or per year, but the lead time should be also change the unit to weekly or annual. Simple, right? Clear? Right? D times LT is your lead time. Now, it's very simple example. Okay, that is very simple. Timmy takes 2 a day vitamins which are delivered to his home by a routeman 7 days after an order is called in. At what point should Timmy reorder? basically it's asking us about the reorder points, the quantity. Here's the quantity of the tablets of vitamins you reorder. I'll give you guys 3 minutes should be more than enough. Alright, got that? Yeah. Probably 3 seconds is enough, right? What is your answer?
14 days?
Yeah. Not days. 14 units.
Units.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
vitamins, right? It's 14 days.
Yeah.
So the demand would be 2 and the lead time would be 7 or no?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
Okay. Take some time to digest the question. Get that, Michael?
Yeah.
What is your reorder point?
14 vitamins.
Yes. Very easy, right?
Yeah.
Once you understand this, it's pretty straightforward.
This weekend.
Daniel.
Well,
Get that?
it's-
No? Take some time.
This weekend.
Taylor?
I think everybody's coming for home. Take some time.
I'm leaving.
Get that? What is the reorder point?
I have yet to been to a
You just speak up.
Well, I've been to a Bible Hollywood.
So you get
I've yet to been to a game here.
Just try. Yeah. You're right.
That's better.
Right? Yeah. But we need to understand, okay? If we understand logic,
I'm
it's pretty straightforward.
already.
You got that? 14, right? Okay. I think 3 minutes is too much for you guys. Right? And then some people say, why Charles want to give us 3 minutes? It's much a big question. No, it is. Most of the guys are 14, right? So the demand is 2, right? I think everybody has the kindergarten English or like animal school understand. Or 2 a day vitamin, that means this person has to take 2 tablets per day, right? And except Charles, maybe if you understand the English, then that's a problem. So, and then also the lead time is 7 days because this route man only deliver, okay, you order that. I don't know why this route man is so late, but just 7 days, right? So 7 times 2, that means, okay, you check your tablet. You say, okay, my vitamin only have 14 left. I place order. So simple for you. So that's the strategy. You don't want to place too early, right? So you have some maybe tiny holding costs for all the extra vitamins. I don't know how much is, but you definitely don't want to place order too late because that can affect your health. That is the easiest part. No uncertainty, right? But the reality is here. Okay, now we really come to the deep water zone here, right? So the demand or lead time uncertainty make this possible that your demand is higher than your available supply. No matter how many you prepare, if the demand has big variability, it can give you a surprise. Okay, to reduce the likelihood of a stockouts, we understand, okay, that's the demand can be very, very high. Then it's very important to carry the safe stock. So the safe stock is the stock beyond the expected demand. You know, okay, expected demand next week is 100. It's not enough in reality, right? You are not 100% sure. It can be 120, 150. Why you don't want to carry 200? Because the possibility to reach 200 is very little. But you probably want to carry 120, 130, something like that. So that's the safe stock. You want to determine the safe stock. So by definition, safe stock is a stock that is held in excess of expected demand due to variable demand or lead time. So the reorder points with consideration of safe stock with the uncertainty is that the expected demand during the lead time, the same thing of the last slide, the expected demand of lead time, right, 14, plus your safe stock because there's uncertainty. Okay. So this is a graph to show the safe stock, right? So you think about EOQ, that's a straight line. Well, there's no demand is constant. We know that for sure. That's a reorder point for EOQ, and come to here with 0, we get that. But unfortunately, sometimes the demand drop rate is higher than our expectation. That means our demand rate is higher. So our inventory level drops quicker than our expectation. Now, if you use EOQ without any safe stock, then what's the problem here? you have stock outs, right? Because you don't have any inventory. You only prepare exact your expected demand. But so now since we have safe stock, we're good. It's still good, right? The ideal situation, we don't use our safe stock. But if we have to use, we have the safe stock. So it's a buffer stocks. Okay, give you some hedge our risk. That's the idea of safe stock. So you can see here, expected demand during lead time can be much lower than the maximum possible demand during the lead time. So safe stock, if you carry more safe stock, the stock out risk decrease. Understand, right? You hold more and more, definitely you have lower stock out risk. Customer will be happy. Improve customer service. When we have discussed customer service is 100% minus the stock out risk. This crazy formula will come here to here, right? Now the real question we want to answer, okay, is how to determine the safe stock. Okay, the safe stock is appropriate for a given situation depends on 3 conditions, or 3 parameters. First, the average demand rate and the average lead time. For the EOQ, it's not average, it's the fixed demand rate and the fixed lead time. So that's why to calculate reorder point is so easy. We don't need any safe stock. But here is the average. You can only estimate the average. You are not sure, but we know the average. It also estimates the standard deviation of variability. If we talk about statistics, standard deviation of demand and lead time. Both of them can have some variance. Most likely, both of them have variance, right? The last one is your design service level. You determine that. Is 95% or 90% or 85% is enough? A different service level corresponds to a different safe stock level, right? Question for you guys. If we hold a 80% service level, do we carry more safe stock than 90% service level, or carry less safe stock compared to 90% service level? The service level 80% compared to 90%. Which one has a higher safe stock requirement? 90%, right? If you have a higher target service level, you have to hold more safe stock. Very good. Then the reorder points is calculated in this way. So the reorder points is the expected demand during the lead time plus Z value times sigma DLT. Well, Z is the number of standard deviation. Well, we will talk about how to get Z. You already have some experience in last class. And sigma DLT is the standard deviation of lead time demand. That means, okay, we already consider the demand and the lead time. They are random variable. They are not fixed. Then we can calculate sigma DLT. Now, big question. So suppose, given this formula, suppose the manager find a demand for sand during the lead time. So the product is sand. During lead time is average is 50 tons. So we know the average demand is 50 tons. In addition, suppose the manager determine the demand during the lead time follows the normal distribution with mean of 50 tons and a standard deviation of 5. Assume the manager will to accept the stock out risk of no more than 3%. That means the service level is 97%. Question A. What value of Z is appropriate? So we have to first determine the Z before we can calculate safe stock. So question A. What value of Z is appropriate for us to plug in for this safety stock model? Okay. Do it. You guys 3 minutes for the part A. That's for part A. Now we can move on for parts B and C. you need your textbook if you have for Z value. Why? I'm curious, why would you do it?
We'll probably.
Well,
Huh?
We'll probably.
You have to go to the appendix to get that.
B,
oh,
Yeah,
for Z.
you gotta have the,
appendix. Yeah. Because it's follow a normal distribution, right? So demand follow a normal distribution, and your service level is what is the service level? Stock out risk is 3%. Then what is your service level?
97.
97. Very good. So your service level is 97%. So you want to find the critical value, Z value, correspond to 97 percentile for the normal distribution. That's Z. Clear? So when you have that, you find the 97 percentile critical value. Okay, so service level
So look at 1.8.
equal to 100% minus the stock out risk, which is 3%. So we get service level is 97%. Then, by using the table in our appendix, appendix B or C, you should be able to find that. Joseph, have you find that? What is the Z value? 97%? 1.88. So you can find Z value corresponding to this service level is 1.88. Is that right? 1.88. Clear, everyone? So even you don't have the textbook, you understand, right? So you go to the textbook, appendix, for normal distribution, you find the critical value, Z value, corresponding to 0.97, 97%. You should get 1.88. Okay, now it's your job. I finish my part. Part B and C. First, so this is the safe stock, okay? Z times sigma DLT is safe stock. And you add the expected demand, that is part C, reorder points. Reorder points. But first, let's calculate your safe stock. After we get Z value equal to 1.88. When I work as a consultant before, I deal with safe stock almost every day because all of our clients use safe stock model. Nobody use EOQ or EPQ. Just not good. Doesn't work for us. So that's very important. 59 times 4. What do you get that? That's the formula. You are right, in fact. I just want to double check. Do you have a question? Yeah, ROP is reorder points. So reorder points is expected demand during the lead time plus the safe stock. So the second part of this equation is safe stock. Yeah, but you probably can skip that. You can direct jump to the ROP. Get that? Pretty straightforward. Okay, well, explain why it's still not so hard to get. Facts, in reality, it's much harder.
Didn't he say that? But the way you're saying there, which will be expected plus the 1.85 times standard deviation. It's not
58?
But I don't know if we just take one.
9.4, right? Got it? Got it? Okay.
First equals 150 and
9.4.
Second part is the same.
Okay.
What did you take?
I did the 180 times the 1.
And that's wrong.
That's right.
No, I got 9.4.
Yeah, safe zone is 9.4. That's right. Then you can part C.
But that's for
Where's the
C.
safe word?
Okay, so let's do the part you need.
Oh, expect,
59.4.
yeah, the expected demand for leaving is 50.
You guys become experts in my field already. You don't want to be the experts? Why? Just want to get your credit. That's the only purpose you count.
No, I was interested, but then I don't know, it's a lot like statistics, and I didn't like statistics.
Yeah. It's much more than statistics.
But still, I didn't like statistics, so.
Okay. I think most students already figured out that. Let's do it together. Pass B. Safe stock. Anybody can tell us how to calculate safe stock? After we finish pass A, how do you calculate safe stock?
1.88 times the standard deviation.
Okay, so it's Z value, which you already get from the appendix. 1.88 times
The standard deviation by
the standard deviation here, right? The standard deviation during the lead time. So this means demand standard deviation during lead time. Okay, I will explain that a little bit. So you guys 9.4, right? Am I right? Part C. Anybody can tell us what is the reorder point now? Very straightforward.
59.4.
Yes. How do you get that? Gerard?
50.
Okay, it's the expected demand during lead time, which is 50, or average, plus
Then you have that 9.4.
safe stock, so it's to have 59.4. You can add the units, tons. So that means, okay, you find your on-hand inventory level of sand. If it's reached this 59.4 tons, you place the order. Okay, that's we finish the question. If a manager want to ask us. Okay, I walk through the group. I think this example is not hard. You think about it, you probably spend much less time than like single period model we spent on last class. Even probably less than like EOQ model. But this is the model company use. I will explain why you feel it's not hard. The reason it's not hard is because everything is given. You just need to plug in the formula to get that. Let's think about it in the reality. Okay. All these functions. First one, the demand during the lead time 50 times. How we figure out that in reality? If you work for the company, for this sand, right? For the construction company, how do you figure out? Okay, the demand, every demand during the lead time is this 50 times. How can we figure out that? That's
Forecast,
easy. Huh?
forecasting.
Forecasting? Yes, you are right.
Historical data.
Historical data? Right too, because it's definitely a forecast. But how do you can make for historical data? And you use historical data to make the forecast. Okay, then we know that. But also remember, it's not just demand. It's demand during lead time. You have to first estimate the lead time. Because if lead time is 1 day, well, demand is maybe 1 time, right? 50 days, 50 times, something like that. So you should first estimate lead time. Then second question, how can we estimate our lead time? It's a variable. It's not fixed 2 days, right? Then how do you estimate that? You have the idea, Kayla? You are laughing, so you talk about that.
No.
You don't have that? Okay. Just laugh at me. I think that's the only purpose, right? the demand, the lead time to estimate is the same thing. Both Michael and Alan mentioned is right. We should forecast the lead time first. But usually lead time is pretty stable. You don't need to forecast. Most likely, we get the pattern from historical lead time because you place order so many times for the past like several years for this vendor, right? You just track. You should track. Okay. Okay. Let's say we have order 100 times. We just take the average of this 100 times order to see how many days we wait. That's the average lead time. Clear? Okay. Okay, now this is just this part. Okay, then we know, okay, lead time, let's say 7 days average. Okay, then we know the demand. Oh, in the 7 days, 1 week is 50 times, so we get that. Okay, that is the easy part to estimate in reality. What is the real hard part? Let's first talk about the second hardest part before we jump to the hardest one. Is this service level or stock out risk? So the manager say he or she accepts 3% stock out, or we explain that the target service level is 97%. You think about single period model we have done last time, right, on Wednesday. How we get service level? We calculate that, right? We don't say we want service level. Well, we calculate. Think about the example we have there for the cider is 75%. We calculate. We know for sure that is optimal service level. But here, do we know it's optimal? Nobody tell us, right? But once it's not optimal, for example, you set too high. Okay, the formula you use is correct. Okay, you plug in the formula, you get 59.4. But if the service level is not optimal, it's too high, you have higher holding costs. You lose money. It's not the optimal decision. So the optimal decision should begin from the parameter service level. Then how can you find optimal service level? It's not like single period model. We have the formula to do that. How can we find the optimal service level? I think it's too challenging. Even I probably can't answer this question because it's extremely hard. I can tell you, except for like newsborn, right? If you can estimate the access cost or shortage cost, you can have the formula to calculate the optimal service level. In reality, it's really hard because you think about the service level is really the balance between how much you can afford to have shortage versus how much of your holding costs, right? That is where determine. If you have very high shortage costs, your customer is not loyal at all, you definitely want to have a higher service level because I can't lose you. But if your customer is very loyal, no matter how many times they come to your store, can't find stuff, they will come again and again. And then your service level can be lower. Your holding cost is very high. So that is always between that. But the one problem is that holding cost is kind of easy to estimate. Holding cost, right? This is on hand. The shortage cost is really hard. The same as newsboy, but we have mentioned newsboy because it's perishable. It's kind of easy to estimate, right? But really hard part is that the loyalty of your customer. If the customer come to your store, can't find that, what is the probability this customer permanently switch to some other vendor? Do we know that? Nobody knows that. You can only estimate. Your customer, nobody knows. Customers are different too, right? Okay, different mood or maybe weather also affects his or her decision, right? Also, the penalty cost. Even customers still come. The attitude, the negotiation, the argue with you in the future. It's make the estimation of the shortage cost extremely hard. We only know that it's nowadays higher and higher because customers they switch easily. We know that. The estimate is hard. Usually, a big company, what they did that, I can tell you, they use the ABC classification we have learned at the beginning of this chapter. Remember? ABC. So for the A item, like Walmart, they think maybe a cell phone or TV is important. They know it generates a lot of profits. Okay? They want to have a higher service level, like 95%. For the food, maybe the B level, B category, they have like 90%. Some hardware is not so important, right? So they have like 85%. So usually when I do my consulting work, I see company, but they don't have time. You don't want to pay for the effort. There are 10,000 items. You want to determine the optimal service level for each item? It's almost impossible. So they use this ABC. It makes sense. It's not optimal, but it makes sense. 95%, 90%, 85%. Okay, that's service level. Well, let's say, okay, this manager already used the logic we have discussed, the optimal service level. The hardest part is here. The standard deviation of demand during the lead time, in reality, is your job to estimate that. What does this mean? Is that, okay, let's say your lead time is 7 days. What is the standard deviation of demand during these 7 days? It's coming from 80 to 120, right? It's coming from 50 to 150. It's not just the forecast of every demand. You have to estimate the demand, the standard deviation during the lead time. Okay, it's historical analysis. Use statistical way. This is the data you find it. But this is the hardest one. Okay. Once you figure out all the parameters, you guys did a fantastic job to plug the number into the formula to get the correct result. But you should understand in reality, The client or manager will throw you a bunch of historical data. That's your data you leave. You figure out all these parameters and tell me what is the reorder point. This is $1 million question at least, a multi-million-dollar question, if you can answer the question correctly. But for the homework exam, simple, right? Okay, that's it in today's class. I hope it's a challenging class.